High achievers are some of the most burned out, disconnected people walking around. How do I know? I've been there and I've met so many of them and just couldn't wait for someone to say, it's okay to let go. It's okay to relax. It's okay to step back. And I've been that person, that coach, whether I was hired or I was just, they just happened to meet me and we're talking and I look at them and say, you do realize that the moment you get sick, someone's going to be doing your job.
Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments, the best growth mindset podcast recognized by Million Podcasts and ranked as a top mindset podcast by FeedSpot. We're proud to be in the top 1% on Listen Notes. Join Dr. Alisa Whyte as we explore powerful insights and strategies to elevate your mindset. Let's dive in.
So let me say something that might hit a little close. You're not stuck because you lack strategy. You're not stuck because you need another certification. You're not stuck because, well, the version of you're leading right now. You might just be in a space where the actual version that's leading right now is probably not you. It's the exhausted version, the misaligned version, or the overperforming version. And here's the truth that most people don't want to admit. Some of you are successful and completely disconnected from yourselves. Today's conversation is not about leadership theory. It's about pressure versus purpose, performance versus presence, and the energy you bring into every room before you even open your mouth. Welcome back to Mindset Mastery Moments. I'm your host, of course, Alisa, the number one mindset disruptor. And today we're not just talking about leadership. No, we are not. We're going to be talking about the invisible currency behind leadership, which is your energy. Because let's be honest, some leaders walk into the room and they shift everything. Others walk in and they drain it. Unfortunately, everybody's like, there she is again. Same title, different energy, different impact. And today's guest, she understands this at a level most people never really reach or really talk about enough. We are speaking to Miss Saima Geelani. She is the founder and CEO of Talent Edge World, an ICF certified coach, energy leadership expert, global HR strategist with over 17 years of experience across the USA, Europe, and Asia. But here's what makes her so different. She didn't just study leadership, she lived reinvention of it. From Kashmir, where expectations were assigned before dreams were even formed, to becoming a gold medalist, to leaving everything behind to rebuild her life in France without speaking the language, and yes, of course, learning how to do so, to raising a global corporate leadership organization and to walking away from it to choose alignment over performance. She didn't just climb, she redefined the climb. Saima, so welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments. I am so thrilled. Couldn't wait to have this conversation with you for real, for real. Tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Thank you so much, Alisa, for such a wonderful introduction. I mean, you completely nailed it. And for a moment, you took me back, in those mountains of Kashmir and then to that Eiffel Tower and now here in the United States. It was complete, I would say, that life review in a couple of minutes, something like that, right? Oh my God. Okay.
You did so much, right? Sometimes it's so hard when you hear all of it and you're like, wait, that's me? Yeah, that's you.
I'm like, okay, now, you just said it all. So for introduction, but yeah. I would still fill in the gaps. So thank you for this wonderful and beautiful introduction once again. And I would say, yes, I started my journey quite recently as a mindset core energy coach, core energy coach. I call myself leadership. There are a couple of different titles because I work with different categories of people, from different domains. And my decision of becoming a coach, it was a big one, but it was not, it didn't happen just overnight. It took years. So as you said, I'm born and brought up in a small, place, like a beautiful place called Kashmir, which is surrounded by Himalayas, the mountains, and the lush greenery. So coming from that place, especially for a girl, it was not really easy, especially in those conditions where we were brought up. It was not really easy, to have access to all the avenues and opportunities, especially as a girl. it
Yeah.
was it was a bit of struggle, although thankfully we were like, I was born in a household where we had a lot of support from my parents. And especially my mother, we would be spending a lot of time with her, and she would be really, encouraging me, whether it's like I'm passionate about painting, I would be painting, I would be, in the sports, I was, I had that, sports thing in me. So she would always be encouraging us. But then when a time came and I had to choose, so that time, everybody was like, either go for doctor or for engineer, there is
Engineering.
no route 3 for you, right? That's how the society was built. And I chose my own path, and I did my master's in business administration. I was one of the first girls from my batch to go out of state, which was again not a norm, especially for a
Right.
girl.
Uh-huh.
I was pretty much, it was always like going against the ride for me, against the stride, I would say, against the waves for me, kind of like a little bit rebellious there. And wouldn't be wrong to say that every time I survived that wave, and I would overcome, those waves with flying colors, thankfully. But every time there was a struggle, and I would just bounce back. So I got into, my first job was really into that Fortune 500 company. That was really a good start. And then, I got married, and I had to move to, completely different environment, a new continent. And that's when it all began. So I moved
Mm-hmm.
from Kashmir all the way to Paris, France. And I still remember the first day when I landed in Paris. I didn't speak the language of the country. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
how to say even hello in French.
Mm-hmm.
And the journey was not easy, leaving behind your established career now, your family,
Yeah.
place where you were born and brought up, saying goodbye to everything. Now here I am, embracing the new world, new culture, new people, and
Mm-hmm.
breaking the market, the job market, the career, starting all over again. That was
Mm-hmm.
easy. And I still remember, going to the career counselor's office, because I had that fire and ambition in me that no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving up. So
Yeah.
I went to this career counselor office in France, and just to get some advice or how to maneuver and navigate the French market. The lady, she came in the, the lobby. I still remember as if it's just yesterday. So we shook hands at the reception, and the first word she mentioned, which is quite right in her own way, was, "You don't speak French, and you're looking for a job in France."
Wow. Wow.
So I was like, I'm already struggling, and I just gave
Yeah.
a ray of hope, and I was expecting something different, maybe something more softer than this, a little bit encouraging, right? So that moment could have made a big change in me. Either,
Mm-hmm.
stepped back and just like, okay, I cannot live here, and I'm just moving back.
Right.
I chose another way. There is, I, as a coach now today, I say we always have an option. We always have a choice, right?
Yes.
So that time I didn't even know like what coaching is all about, but something in me told me there is another option. So I was like, I had that meeting, it went well. I went back, and I was like, okay, what could be the other options? Although I had my master's in business administration from Kashmir. So then I decided, okay, the only way for me that time to break into that French market was to go back to school, another MBA, and I did.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it was not an easy one, and that was the time when I had a
I've
15
been there.
year old boy who would not even let me hold a pen, and it was a struggle. I had to learn the language same time. I went back
Wow.
to school, and that was a time, my husband would come very late from his work. It was like his, first job, and he was really putting all his efforts. So A
Mhm.
lot of struggle, lot of struggle. It took me 3 long years, until I actually got into the market. And that was the time, I completed my master's in business administration. I had got an internship in a good company, pharmaceutical in Paris. And that's when actually my true journey started. And that's when then I got into a financial infrastructure company where I wouldn't be wrong, that was a major chunk of my career, 9 long years,
Yeah.
financial service company. And I wouldn't be wrong to say that was the place which I didn't realize during those years where the seed of becoming a coach was planted. So, and I realized it only when I moved to US.
Mm.
Again, that fire in me that I cannot, just lay back and do nothing. So
Mhm.
that was another struggle now
Yeah,
navigating,
'cause you had to change, yeah.
because the moment when we had to then move from France to US, that was a time when I was flourishing in France. I would love to
You
stroll.
d that you worked so hard to get there.
I was like, I would love to stroll in the streets of Paris. I mean, it was like my home now. Kids were
Yes.
happy. Now
And you had to work to achieve that feeling and go back to school and
it
get that
was,
job, my goodness.
yeah, and it was a very uphill task, I would say.
Yeah.
And by that time, I have, like, I had two boys. Now they are 8 and 15. So
Mhm.
they loved their school, and I would still, remember that feeling. I would drop them in the morning. Then, I would have that peaceful sigh. Okay, they are at school. Now I'm going to my workplace. And
Yeah.
it was not, it had never been a Monday morning grit for me, going to work.
Mhm.
Because the environment was such, I would say, the kind of leadership I worked there for 9 years, it was purely charismatic leadership. It was a
Mhm.
style leadership. The leadership who would always care for the well-being of the people.
Mhm.
I was loving it. People would say, Saima, you are blessed to work, in such a company. But I was like, yeah, of course I'm blessed. But I realized it more in US. So when I moved to US, I got immediately into another company. I worked there for almost a year in a
Mm.
leadership position as global people and culture. Quite a nice environment, wonderful, met wonderful people. Something changed, when I looked back at my more than 15, 16 years career. So when I saw the different styles of leadership during the course of my tenure with different companies, then I realized, what a blessing it was working back in Europe in, with such leadership. And I stepped back, I realized, that was the time when I realized the presence or absence of leadership,
Mm.
it's not only at the top of the pyramid, it actually trickles all the way down, and it has
Yes.
impact on all the levels of the staff, the people
Mhm.
with mid-level managers, it's operational staff, it's the entry level people. So it creates a kind of culture, right? The type of leadership
Yes.
creates a kind of culture. And I remember, like, we had a lot of boomerang employees back.
Mm.
They would leave, they would actually join top notch companies, the dream companies. And I still remember some people who actually left those companies and came back to our company, in Europe, because of the culture, because of the leadership. And that was the time I decided, okay, if as a HR professional, where sometimes I have to, that be hitting against that wall, maybe, or the glass, she wants to go out, but she does not realize that the door is just half a feet away. She can just use that.
Mhm.
For quite some time, when I moved here, I was just hitting against a glass wall, trying to implement certain policies, or maybe trying to get into, like, certain well-being programs for the people around. But it's not always easy, and that's totally understandable because
Exactly.
it's the corporate culture. So we nothing wrong with that. But I realized, if my hands might remain tied, if I have to go through different bureaucracy levels, and every times, what you dream, or if you think big, it might not be approved every time. So what is the other option,
Right.
right? to be available for people, to be at their service. And this has always been my passion. In past 18 years, I have worked mostly in the talent management, learning and development. So most of the time was spent interacting with people across all the levels.
Mm-hmm.
When I stepped back, I realized what I like most about my job. It was interaction with people and
Mm-hmm.
the smile on their face,
Um,
seeing that glitter, that spark in their eyes,
that hope. Yeah, seeing hope in their eyes to get what they want. Yeah.
and simply sometimes I would just sit back and listen. Sometimes if you just give them that listening shoulder, that's all you need to do. And I have done it many times when I was doing some reorganization effort in my most recent, with my most recent employer. And I would spend hours with the head of the department and I would just give her that listening ear. And
Yeah.
a huge change in that whole department, in their well being, how they improved their productivity and performance. That was a big one. So then I stepped back and I was like, okay, I have to listen to my who I am,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
values, what are my belief systems,
Mm-hmm.
my inner voice. And my
Mm-hmm.
inner voice told me, just step back and find a way that you can achieve the same goal and you will be on your own. You don't have to, wait for the approvals. You don't have to wait for that key to open that door.
Mm-hmm.
Doors will be automatically, they will open for you. And that's when I explored coaching. And so I was not like, as per se, as we all know, coaching does not need any kind of, maybe per se certification or license, but
Right.
stepping back from the corporate world and entering into one of the US best coaching schools in New York, that was intentional, not by default, that decision to upskill myself, get the toolbox of coaching, because I felt that my clients, my potential clients, they deserve a lot better.
Yeah.
They deserve a lot. And that was a time I stepped back. It was um, 1.5 year back. I registered myself in the coaching institute in New York. I soaked up in all the, the knowledge, the coaching skills. It was quite an intensive program. I was like, just in 1 year, I got my first level of ICF, International Coaching Federation
That's a
certification.
big congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. That's that and that was the start of, like, my newer version. And today I would say, like, I work on the core energy coaching philosophy, the 7 levels of energy, all the way from level 1 to level 7. So I work with, so first of all, I have my own company. I'm the CEO and founder of my own company, Talent Edge World, where I would be facilitating workshops, whether it's with the defense services, whether it's with the corporate world, or whether it's with the social services. I would also be doing a lot of one-on-one coachings, especially with the leaders, current and future leaders, who feel like
Mm-hmm.
they're stuck, they're overwhelmed, they are going into that burnout. So I help
Mm-hmm.
towards more clarity and confidence and impact. So sometimes, if need be, holding their hand and helping them to move towards the light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And on top of that, I also spend some volunteer hours with some nonprofit organizations. So that is more on the women empowerment. So
Okay.
that is something, I have intentionally decided that will be kind of my lifetime piece, no matter, which pinnacle of success I will reach.
You will
But
always do that.
yes, because that part I feel keeps me grounded, to my roots. And when you're doing something that it's not, you feel it, that it's not just for the money, it's for a bigger purpose,
Mm-hmm.
right? So today I would say I work a lot with nonprofit organizations, with the corporate world, one-on-one coaching. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching, career counseling as well. And I'm just loving it, when we had those aha moments in the coaching sessions, or when the clients would say, I just sat back, I reflected, and I found the structure. I could see that light at the end of the tunnel. I love those comments, or, that feedback.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that's about, my journey of coaching, and that's what I'm really passionate about. now.
Wow. So you have worked with leaders across industries, banking, tech, and pharma. And let me say something. Let me call something out. High achievers are some of the most burned out, disconnected people walking around. How do I know? I've been there and I've met so many of them and just couldn't wait for someone to say, it's okay to let go. It's okay to relax. It's okay to step back. And I've been that person, that coach, whether I was hired or I was just, they just happened to meet me. And we're talking and I look at them and say, you do realize that the moment you get sick, someone's going to be doing your job. And they're like, you're so right because it's happened before. So they look good on paper, but internally chaos. Why is that, Saima?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I have come across many people, in my coaching also. Like, I have my recent client, I'm currently coaching her as well. And so, for what I feel and what is actually, when we dig deeper, so when we see like what it really is going on, it is the disconnection, it is the disconnect of the purpose, the
Mm-hmm.
value. So we all have like, our belief system values. If that could be like, we have imbibed through our like, our upbringing in child,
Mm-hmm.
from our parents, broader family circle, from our peers, from friends, from school system, society overall, then in the workplace, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
slowly who builds our persona and personality over the years.
Yes.
As a person, have those, like everybody has, you have your values, Alisa, so do I have my values.
Mm-hmm.
And I stepped back from my most recent employment because there was some disconnect between the values, right? And
Mm-hmm.
my management, we both knew that it's something is not aligned. We knew it, and I chose to stick to my values. And that was a time when I decided that, I will turn down and step back. This is not,
Mm-hmm.
I there is always a choice, no matter what.
Yes.
You always have a choice, and I stepped back. So when we say that, everything looks good on paper, we are star performers, we are, high achievers, but something is hollow within, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something, and that is that purpose. When your why is not connected with a bigger why of that organization or the company you're working, that's when your morning grit comes in. That's when, you're like, okay, anyhow, I have to just push it to Friday and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Logging in, plugging in your hours.
Mm-hmm.
Passion comes out of their definition. And it's not that I chose to do it, it becomes more like I need to do it to do it. That have to, need to, it's no more I want to do it, that light on the face, I want to do it. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to do it is more like level 5 energy or level 6 energy, I call level 5.
Wow.
When life throws lemons at you, you make mojito, because you add some mint, you will add some,
Get added some other things, right?
yeah, so
Yes.
it's like you see the opportunities everywhere. That is level 5. And level 6 is being in complete connection with everything and everyone around you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is when your why is connected with the why of the company or the workplace you're working with. But
Mm-hmm.
when that disconnect happens, you're mostly in level 1 or level 2 energy. Level 1,
Right.
or you are in a victim mode. So you just stay back. You don't want to take action. You're like, the whole world is against me. Why it's always me? Those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
You might have slightly high energy, but again, it's a catabolic energy. Catabolic is highly negative energy, which comes from our hormones, like, we might be knowing like cortisol, right? Those are the negative feeling
Mm-hmm.
hormones. So level 2 is when we go in a conflict mode. So you'll be like, the whole world is against me. I don't want to work here. You will be grumpy. You will not smile at people, but still you have to go. And because I have to go, I don't have an option. That is level 2, conflict mode, frustration, anger. That
Mm-hmm.
is, people have a strong disconnect between their value system and the bigger organization value system.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So when leaders are where are leaders actually leaking energy without realizing it? What are the patterns you see in people who are winning but not well? What are some of those things we can look for when they're leaking that energy you speak of, the level 5 energy?
Well, it's really about, I would say, the key to any transformation or any
Mhm.
journey happens when you are at that level of self awareness.
Mm.
Self awareness, whether it's you talk about emotional intelligence or you talk about your personality development, you talk about your self development. If the self awareness component is not there, I would say
Mhm.
that's where the big leakage happens.
Mm.
Most of my clients, I mean, rather all the clients, except those clients who are sponsored by the employer, because they are like,
Mhm.
okay, you sit in the coaching session because I have asked you to do that. Other than
Mhm.
that, all my clients who actually choose to be my client or of any other coach's client, they have already climbed that the first step of that ladder of self awareness. So now they know, like, this is not working or there is a gap. And that's when they choose to, get into those coaching sessions and to work on those
Yes.
gaps. And
Yes.
that's the true transformation starts kicking in. But I have seen the cases, I have seen the big leaders like C suite or the vice president level where they are highly productive. I mean, spot on everything, but lack of awareness. Like, sometimes we need to take just a step back to take two steps in the forward direction. So,
Mhm.
to take that step back, they are continuously in that, hamster wheel, what we say, or the vicious circle of life. They don't take a pause. Sometimes we need to step back. When I'll go out for a walk, I'll not just really go out for a walk. I will maybe, look at the trees and observe the leaf also for some time and seeing that sunshine passing through, breathing that fresh air in. I mean, that's like when you're present in the moment. It's
Mhm.
also about when you walk on that path, you don't simply just walk on that path. You actually pick those beautiful flowers also. When you come across those flowers, you pick those flowers
Mhm.
on that path. So when you're not fully present in the moment and you're in the meeting, but already something is going on in your head and you're already thinking of the next meeting or what has happened back in the home, that's when the leakage happens.
Wow. Okay. So thank you for sharing that. You focus heavily on this energy leadership index. I think that's the concept you created as well, the framework. So let's simplify that entire framework for people. What does it actually mean to lead from low energy versus high energy? And I want you to give us the real life, not the textbook version, so that anybody who catches it, they can understand, because there's that energy of a leader. What does it look like in a meeting when you're low energy, and what does it look like to be around the high energy leader if, according to your framework?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is my favorite one. And, I would say no coaching session goes without that ALI, Energy Leadership Index, for me, because,
ELI.
yes, so it creates the basis for all the coaching sessions, whether I will coach people for 6 months, for 1 year, or just, couple of coaching sessions.
Strategy
ALI
session. Yeah.
really, kind of like, that foundation when you
Mhm.
construct a house and you need that strong foundation, that
Right.
foundation is ALI for me.
Right.
So when we talk about different levels, so I coach all the way from level 1 to level 7. So mostly it goes up to level 5,
Mm.
maybe up to level 6. Level 7 is an extreme case, which is not like, it's not present in us, it's present in all of us. And when I do
Mm.
assessments, so these assessments, they show like what is your level of energy, on a good fine day. And we
Mm.
show the bars of all the way from level 1 to level 7. So what percentage of energy of each level you show on a good fine day,
Mhm.
as well as how does your 7 levels show in a stressful day. right? And when you combine the averages of all those energies, good on the good day and the stressful day, that gives a number called average resonating level of energy. And
Mm-hmm.
it is, there has been a lot of scientific empirical research is done. The more successful you are, both in personal as well as in professional life.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of ALI is, I'm sure, Alisa, you also might be knowing about a lot of like assessments. We have Meyer-Briggs type, we have Enneagram,
Yes.
we have a lot of other disc and whatnot. So they
Yes. So many.
right, so they are beautiful ones. I have been using them on the HR side for other people during my tenure. So they are the beautiful ones, but they label you. So once they tell you whether which kind of personality you are, right?
You think there, yeah.
Yeah,
But
you
that is not reality, is it? At the
so
end of the
whether
day.
it's like personality type A or personality B, this is who you are, right? Lifelong. But the beauty about ALI is it measures your attitude. It measures your perception. The
Mm,
filters that you use to view the world, it measures those filters, right? If you, for example, wear red color glasses, you will see the world will look red, and same for blue
right.
or green, right?
Right.
So since attitudes are like subjective, your perception is subjective, and with awareness you can easily change it. And with right type of coaching, when you start having building that structure, perceptions can change, and they can definitely change. And that's why when I do these assessments or coaching packages, I tell them like we do pre-ALI, we do the coaching 6 months to 1 year, we do post ALIs, because then we see the trend, we see how the average resonating level has changed.
Mm,
Then, if I just come back to your question about the different levels, how they show up in the workplace. So, as
mhm.
I said, like, a little bit like you talked about the different kind of leaders in the workplace. If I
Yeah.
talk about my supervisor in my previous company in Europe, she was more like level 5, level 6 leader. So level 5 and level 6 is when such type of leaders they enter into the workplace, you actually want to get up, go to them and greet them. You actually want to, and it's not just, have to or need to, I want to.
You want to. And what's so distinct about their character and personality, or rather energy?
It is charismatic. It is, as I said, servant leadership. They always put your well-being first.
Ah,
They listen to you. You feel important in their presence.
wow,
And
yeah.
you have that, they have that kind of aura, like where you feel valued, you feel heard, and you have that authority, and like you are valued, your work is valued, you are valued as a person. So your well-being is I know, like in HR, like if whenever we have a problem in the company, people go to HR, right? We have this problem, this is not working, that's not working, where is my pay, where is this and that. But we are HR professionals, we are also human beings, like we could have the similar
Right.
problems. Where would
Right.
we go, right? Who
Mm,
would we? And there were times, like when we were so much at the receiving end that we would also go into burnout.
mhm.
It happened many times, and that was a time when our manager would be like, I remember like once she actually organized a weekend. It was actually not weekend, it was 3 long days during the weekdays. And she was like, Saima, you know what, we are just leaving them on their own, and the entire HR team, we are just going away for a retreat. And that was a luxury retreat she organized for our team. She was like, we need it the most, we are done, we are burned out. And she would do it like very often. And so these were the moments, like you would find it completely your passion to be a part of that workplace, because you are working
Mhm.
with level 5 or level 6 leader.
Mhm.
And then there is another example where I have also worked, and I have seen leaders where when they would step into the workplace, actually some employees would actually hide or just go under the table, or maybe if there are a little bit walls in the cubicles, they
Yeah.
would try to just bend down a little bit. I have seen that also.
Right.
And that type of leadership is mostly level 2, not even level 1, because level 1 is like, you remain calm, you stay back,
Mm-hmm.
you're in the victim mode. But level 2 is more like anger and frustration. This is not done. This should have been done now. Now is
Mm-hmm.
now. So that is level 2 leadership, which repels you. And if you know, like, attraction, law of attraction, I'm sure you might have also read that in, like charge, attract, like, we have like
Right.
the same
Yeah.
energy will attract the same energy. So when we have highly anabolic energy, the positive energy, so anabolic energy is all the way from level 3 to level 7. So we attract that energy. And when somebody comes with you with a low energy, that is a catabolic energy, they actually also try to pull your energy down, because they create that aura in the workplace, and you will automatically feel that in the air around you, that catabolic and negative energy. So, and whether it's in the meeting, you will not be, and slowly people stop being authentic as well. They fear to accept the mistakes because they know, if I'm going to be authentic, what are the repercussions? So people cease to be authentic in level 2 workplaces, right?
Got you. Wow. That is so true. That energy does attract the level of energy. And so it's everything around you starts to function according to the energy that you're carrying with you. And even so, as a leader, I actually love your framework, the discovery edge, the collaborative edge, the master's edge. That's very strategic. But let's challenge it a little bit. Why do people stay stuck in stagnation even though they know better already? Can you help us break that down using your framework?
Well, stuck in stagnation happens when they are, for a moment so what happens actually when I coach people, so I coach them around the different blockers. So let me give you a little bit detail around the blockers.
Mhm. Yes.
First of all, we talked about self awareness, right? That is the first thing in coaching.
Right.
So my role as a coach is to first make them aware of, like, where is the gap. So it happens, I never give advice. You cannot give it advice as a coach. They're not a coaching, right? So it's really about exploring and, letting them explore, because I believe we all have on the higher coach within us. It's just a matter of bridging that connection, so what I do, I connect them with their higher coach, and that's when this awareness is, which is already a little bit present in them, and then we just amplify.
Mhm.
Then we talk about the blockers. And so blockers are like usually five type of blockers. One is the main external outer blocker, which is you
Yeah.
cannot do much about it, right? It could be like, maybe, you don't, like, for example, when I moved from one continent to another continent, there are usually sometimes outer blocks present. Maybe I don't know the language, right? I don't
Yeah.
know local compliance. There are certain skills missing in my profile. That is outer block.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Where maybe, you need some other resources to bridge that. But then if we talk about the stuck, that is more coming from, the inner blocks. So then when we
Yeah.
talk about inner blocks, so the acronym is GAIL, GAIL. So these
Mm.
are the four types of inner blocks. One is, the bigger one is gremlin, when you say, like, I'm not good enough. I cannot do it. I don't have enough experience. I always tried it, but I always fail. So these are, like, the big one, which is gremlin, that small monster that lives in you. Then the A is assumptions. Like, I couldn't do it past time. Like, I sat with my boss, I asked for the promotion, they did not give me. I'm not going to sit again, because last time they said no, they are going to say no again.
Mhm.
And then you have interpretations. So how you interpret, and interpret is more like, based on what others say, or how you interpret, maybe, people or certain occasions, certain incidents. That could be like, for example, in that case, like, if you might interpret it, I didn't get a promotion because I did not have sufficient qualification or experience, right?
Mhm.
Interpret it, might be that's not right, that's wrong. And the last one is L, which is limiting beliefs. And limiting beliefs is which comes from your upbringing, what others say. And maybe, for example, when talking about limiting belief, I just it's a wonderful example that I would like to share. So what happened in it was back in 1954 when it was believed that nobody can actually run uh, 1 mile in 4 minutes. So it was considered to be impossible. So that's what people used to say, experts would say. And the
Mm-hmm.
doctors would actually say it's dangerous. It could take the life of the person. And that
Wow.
very year in 1954, uh,
Mm-hmm.
it was in May, I guess, May 1954,
Mm-hmm.
man named by I don't remember his name right now. So Roger Bannister, yes, Roger Bannister. He was the
Mm-hmm.
one who broke that record, and he completed 1 mile in 3 minutes 59 seconds.
Wow.
So, and after 2 months, there was another young man who
Mm-hmm.
completed the same 1 mile in 3 minutes 57 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, there were many people who followed the example, and this 4 minute rule was no longer the right one. So, that is the example of limiting belief. When your
Mm-hmm.
doctor says or other person says, and you believe that it's true and it becomes a story.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, like people who remain stuck, it is either mostly coming from their one of the four inner blocks.
Yeah.
And that's when I start working on the blockers. So when they say, like, I feel stuck, first of all, what does stuck mean for you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because the definition of stuck for me might be completely different than the one you have. And that's when, we start then going into those blockers, finding out whether it's like interpretation or assumption, like, or the they are not able to see behind the that wall, and making them. So what I try to do is like, okay, what would be the other way of looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's when the option comes, possibilities come, because we as coaches believe we have abundant resources for everyone in this universe,
Right.
right? So we always have a choice. We always have possibility. We will remain stuck only until the moment we feel we don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And when that curtain is drawn and they see we have a choice, that's when they start opening their wings, and now they know, we can fly because we have the wings.
Right. Wow, that's really good. Wow. Wow, so such valuable information, and that's something a lot of times as leaders are not considering those aspects of the work that we do. We just think as long as we have things moving and we can get people to do what we say, that's to me the management process. But you get deeper, better, more impactful results when you're leading and leading from that higher place. Let's do one of my favorite segments of the podcast. That's flip the script. You said something so powerful that coaching made your life quieter, more present, more grounded. And let me translate that for our audience. Basically, you stopped chasing and you started aligning. So the real question is, why are so many people afraid of slowing down? Because slowing down means you might actually hear yourself, do you think?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, I think, you know, taking that pause, I mean, there is so much going on in our lives, and we actually don't even have time to think about that. We need to take time for ourselves. We need to just step back and take that pause. And we fear that, if we take some time for ourselves, we have that sense of guilt in us.
Mm,
If I'm just sitting back or just relaxing, it means
mhm,
I'm not productive. We have this big definition of productivity,
mhm,
and we have certain like boxes that we need to
mhm,
do, whether it's during the course of the day or the week, or certain performance criteria. And the moment we feel like we are taking time for ourselves, we feel like we are missing on something big,
mhm,
right? And but on the other way around, we forget to. Like if I give an example of, like, I have kids, like, I live in my family here. And what happens, most of us, I would say 99% of people, we keep saying, I work hard for my family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a lot because I want to feed my family, provide for my family. But while doing so, in that process, you don't have time for
Mm-hmm.
the family. Your
Mm-hmm.
kids are craving for the time to spend with you, to spend, with parents, like, and they are so much in that, I would say, rat race, or in that vicious circle of earning money, which is like, life is hard. It gets
Yes, it is.
no, especially in, like, big economies. It's really hard, it's not easy. But in no matter how tough the life gets, it's not like, we have to just go for some, like, big vacations, and spend, like, that kind of, like, dream vacation somewhere, and that's kind of the quality time. It could be sometime
Mm-hmm.
you have that 30 minutes in the evening, and you play that board game with your 8-year old. I have my younger one, he's 8-year old. That's what will
Mm-hmm.
smile on his face, right? So
Mm-hmm.
balancing, we talk a lot about work life balance. We say, post covid, now I have, commute is less, and I can spend some more time with family. So it's really about sometimes taking a pause and seeing, if I'm working hard, who am I working hard for? Who is behind me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes more than money, I know there are people, different cadre and different categories, but there are, like, most of the time it happens, like, we go in that race after ambition, and but we tend to forget, like, what is really the deeper behind that. And first of all, that self-care, we even forget that self-care, that oxygen mask rule. You start, and I have seen people who will be working, like, so hard, and
Mm-hmm.
they care about, whether we had our breakfast, our meals on time, my health is okay, am I taking some time to walk outside. So
Yes.
these small basic things, when you don't take care of yourself, I don't think then, you will think about the family, or who's your spouse, or your kids, or, your bigger circles. So
Mm-hmm.
in that race of, being ambitious, climbing the ladder of that leadership and that pinnacle of success, I think a little pause sometimes, a little step back, and thinking, what I am doing, why I am doing, for who I am doing, what is the purpose,
Mm-hmm.
why, what is the bigger purpose behind all that. Sometimes
Yes,
small pause is very important, and we'll get answers to a lot of questions.
we will. I love that. So, Seema, how do you define success for yourself? At Mindset Mastery Moments, we say your mindset is the key to your success. So, how do you define success for yourself?
I would simply say, connected to my why. And
Mm,
when you do something, it's no longer, I need to,
mm-hmm,
I have to.
mm,
It's simply like, when you wake up in the morning, you wake up with that smile, and
mm,
you're ready to embark on that another beautiful day.
yeah.
You just look through the window, and, just maybe open the window and feel the fresh air, and that's how you start your morning.
Mm-hmm,
So automatically, the purpose is there, because you are not waking up heavy, or you're not waking up like another Tuesday or another Monday. It's just like, another beautiful day.
yes. What a beautiful day.
I mean, another opportunity to put a smile on somebody's face,
Yes.
another opportunity to live beyond the legacy.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So, and that's from where the true sense of peace comes.
Mm-hmm,
You will actually feel it. I love walking outdoors. I can walk for hours outside, go in nature. I could feel it. Then, you take a couple of long breaths, and you feel the places. that is my, go-to people. And if they want to connect with me, it is my website, talentedgeworld.com.
Yes.
They can book a discovery session, or they can just search me on LinkedIn as Saima Geelani. So I have many ways. There's complete open door policy. They can
Yeah. Connect with
you can
you.
forward it to me wherever, whichever.
Yes. And which social media outlet are you mostly active on?
My most active one is the LinkedIn. So you will find me there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Saima, for your insights and your take on leadership and teaching us some energetic ways to use our mindset on work and workplace to resuscitate. I sat and I took it all in. I took it all in. So let me say this to you, the listeners of the Anti-Disruptive Side. You don't need to know strategy. You don't need to know Saima, again, thank you for bringing depth, humor, and conversation. And our listeners, remember to connect with Saima at talentedgeworld.com. That's the website. You can look her up. Everything is in the description where you are listening to this episode. Let Saima know that you heard her on Mindset Masterminds. And if you want to know more, just follow with her and learn about how her work begins to transform your leadership skills, attitude, and mental clarity. Thank you again, Saima.
Thanks a lot, Alisa.
All right, disruptors, remember to keep mastering your mindset. Think, speak, do, become. We will see you on the next episode. Bye now.